Good morning, everyone. My name is Melanie, and welcome back to A Slice of Heaven Homestead. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about squash plants, how to hand pollinate them, and I wanted to show you a little gardening hack that I learned. Now, one of the main things that I wanted to talk to you today about is the flowering and reproduction of some of your garden plants. Now, many garden plants, including pumpkins, squash, cucumbers, and melons, have what is called an imperfect flower. This means that there are two types of flowers that come from these plants, the male flower and the female flower, and I will show you how to identify those both. Now, this is my zucchini plant, and it has both male and female flowers. These flowers right here are male flowers. They just come from a long, thin stem and the flowers on top. These are the female flowers, and you can see it has what looks like a baby zucchini on it with the flower at the end. Now, the male flower, if you look inside, has this thing. It's called the stamen. This is what has the pollen on the tip of it. Now, inside of the female flower, that is called the pistil. It is really sticky, and that's so that when bugs travel around, they get the pollen on them from the male flower and then fly over here, and the pollen sticks to that pistil and fertilizes your plant. Now, if you notice that your plants are producing female and male flowers, but the little fruit on them doesn't get any bigger than that, they were probably not pollinated. Okay, so I will show you here at my yellow squash plant. Now, this is where the flower was coming off of my little baby yellow squash. You can tell if it has been pollinated properly or not by squeezing the end just a little bit. You don't want to bruise the fruit or anything, but if you squeeze it and it's firm, it means that it was probably properly pollinated. If that is squishy and it starts to turn brown, it wasn't pollinated, and that's going to do nothing. It won't grow anymore. It'll eventually rot. So it's best to just pick that off and let the plant put out more shoots for the female and male flowers. Now, let's face it, in a perfect world, those female flowers would be pollinated every time, no problem, but this is not a perfect world. You know, sometimes there's just lack of pollinators, sometimes it's rainy and bugs just aren't out pollinating stuff. So you got to do it yourself. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can hand pollinate your squash plants, and that is by gently opening up the male flowers. You can use your finger to gather a little bit of pollen and then wipe that on that pistil inside the female flower. The next great way to hand pollinate is to get a paintbrush. Now, this is a really big paintbrush. You can go a little bit smaller, but you want to have nice soft bristles because they'll be able to grab the pollen a bit better than hard bristles. Open up your male flower. Grab some of that pollen. And then just rub it around that pistil inside the female flower. And another way to hand pollinate is to take the male flower. This one was from yesterday. Male flowers only last about a day or so before they shrivel up and aren't really any good anymore. Now the female flowers will last maybe a couple of days, but if you see a female flower that's open, you want to go ahead and pollinate it as soon as you can, because you don't know when that flower is going to be done. And when it shrivels up, you may have lost your window of opportunity to pollinate. Now you take that male flower. Now I already pollinated this one, so I'm going to go ahead and pollinate this other female flower that's over here. Gently open up the female flower and just rub the stamen onto that pistil inside of the female flower. Now hand pollinating is a super simple way of making sure that your vegetables grow. However, there are some times when if you only have a couple of plants of the one variety, it will produce female flowers and not male flowers. Ideally, you want those to produce at the same time so that they can get properly pollinated, but it doesn't always happen that way. So I'm going to show you a really easy garden hack to solve that problem. Now over here I have a zucchini plant with several male flowers. I have one female flower open, so I'll go ahead and pollinate that. But with the remaining male flowers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to label a Ziploc bag. This is for my zucchini plants, my zucchini pollen. And I have my paintbrush. Now I will go ahead and collect as much of this pollen as I can. And I will keep this in a Ziploc bag for later. Now this is for emergencies when there are no male flowers, but your female flower is open and ready to go. And if it doesn't get pollinated right away, it's not going to produce that fruit. So I want to make sure to have this on hand for a rainy day. Guys, thanks for joining me today. I hope this information has been helpful to some of you. Spread a little kindness and encourage one another. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, we hope you find your slice of heaven too.